So here we are, it's that time of year again. Christmas is behind us. We've eaten our fill of mince pies and turkeys and Christmas puddings, drunk our body weight in alcohol, and now we want to get fit. We also may have various sporting events that we want to sign up for, so like a Gran Fondo or racing or just a long epic ride. And we have to kind of work out how we're going to achieve that. And we do that with a training plan. Unfortunately though, training plans aren't a one-size-fits-all solution. They are very personal, and you have to kind of sit down and really think about what you want to achieve and how you're going to do it. Now, there are many reasons why you would use a proper training plan. First of all, it is very structured, so it can help you to manage your time. In this busy world where we all have work and family commitments, one of our most precious resources is time. So you need to be able to work out what time you have to devote to your training plan and then execute that plan. And just sitting down and writing it out so it's fully structured is one way that you can do that. Another reason for using a fully structured training plan is that it can be very motivating. If you've got particular goals along the way that you're just kind of ticking off, just achieving those goals will boost your confidence and give you the motivation to move on to the next one. And finally, if correctly followed and correctly implemented, a structured training plan can be incredibly effective. So the first step you'll need to do when putting together your own personal training plan is to take a long, hard and honest look at where you are right now. Now, this isn't particularly easy to do. Admitting your weaknesses can be very demotivating and demoralizing, but trust me, it will stand you in good stead for the future. The next question you'll need to ask yourself is exactly what you're trying to achieve. So for many of us, that will be to ride a particular event. So usually that would involve trying to improve one's endurance, but it could equally be riding a particular race or a time trial, in which case you'll want to improve your speed and possibly your FTP levels. And even then, it could be something as simple as wanting to beat your own PRs up particular climbs or on particular routes. And again, it's a question of riding faster and increasing your power. So having looked at what you want to achieve with your training plan, you then need to go on and quantify them. So if you're riding a sportive, you will probably need to ride further. So look at your current rides at the moment and work out your kind of average distances, and then look at the sportive that you want to ride. So it might be 100 kilometers or 150 kilometers, and that would be a very good way of quantifying it. Equally, if you're racing, you need to have a look at the average speed that you're doing at the moment, and then have a look at the average speed that you will need to achieve to be able to take part in that race. So it's all about numbers, and the beauty of numbers is that they are very scientific. They're easily quantifiable, and it's very easy to work out when you're getting towards your target number. The next thing you need to do is work out exactly how much time you can devote to your training plan. Now, unfortunately, we all lead incredibly busy lives these days. Work and family commitments can very often mean that we don't have a lot of time to devote to ourselves. But the beauty of these kind of regular commitments means that if we do things on a particular day at a particular time, we can also factor in the times when we're free, and we can be fairly confident that we will be free those times day in, day out. For some of us, this is not going to be easy, and you will have to ask yourself, how badly do you want to achieve your goal? Now, it may mean stepping outside of your comfort zone and doing things like getting up extra early in the morning and going out for a training ride before you start your day, or even incorporating your training ride into your daily commute. Now, the key to a successful training plan is to do something regularly. And I would also suggest that you do as much as you can, as often as you can. And as a general rule of thumb, I would say that you would probably need to devote about an hour and a half to a typical training ride, and you'll need to do this about 3 or 4 times a week. So having established your training schedule, so you'll know exactly what days you're riding, what time you're riding, and how long you'll be riding for, it's time to then look at the numbers again. And essentially what you'll need to do is increase the intensity or the distance or whatever metric you're measuring by about approximately 10% each week. So for instance, in week 1, if you're going out and your average training distance is, say, 30 kilometers, you'll want to increase that in week 2 to around 33 kilometers, and basically continue like that until you've reached your target distance somewhere towards the end of your training plan. Having sat down and worked out exactly when you're going to train, you have to use your precious time to the most advantage. So what I would suggest is using 60% of your training rides to work on your weaknesses, and then 40% of your time to concentrate on maintaining the strengths that you already have. So for example, let's imagine that you've just signed up for a particularly hilly sportive and you've worked out that you have 4 1.5-hour sessions per week to devote to your training. Now, what I would suggest in this particular instance is that you use 3 of those training sessions to work on your climbing and just getting stronger. And then for the final one, I would suggest that you just go out and you do a longish ride at a reasonable heart rate and just work on your endurance and maintain the fitness that you already have. Now, of course, modern life is filled with all kinds of things that can kind of get in the way and throw your training plan out. Now, it's not a question of if this is going to happen, it's going to be a question of when this happens. So when it does, don't panic, just get back on the training as soon as you can, move beyond the thing that's kind of interrupted it, and just try and resume the training as quickly and as effectively as you can. Unfortunately, getting fit is not a quick process. If you're starting from a complete square one unfit, I would suggest allowing between 12 and 18 weeks before you're anywhere near fit enough to ride your chosen event. The good news though is that if your training plan is structured properly, you should have no problems doing that. So if you found this film useful, please like and share. And if you'd like to get the most out of your cycling, please consider subscribing for my regular weekly uploads. Thanks for watching.